In the heart of the Andes Mountains, nestled along the modern South American coast, lay the Inca Empire, a marvel of its time. This empire, with more than 10 million inhabitants, boasted a political and economic system that has left historians and social scientists pondering for centuries. The Inca Empire, before the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors in the 15th and 16th centuries, was a complex society that defied easy classification. One intriguing question that has emerged from the annals of history is whether the Inca Empire can be labeled as a socialist state. Around 1200 AD, the Inca people began their journey to prominence, eventually becoming one of the dominant empires in the New World. Their society was organized into small agricultural communities, with the basic unit called the Ayllu, akin to a clan of people descended from a common ancestor. The Ayllu held communal land for agriculture and domesticated animals like llamas and alpacas. Yet within these communities, families owned their homes, clothing, utensils, and even small plots of land. However, the clan collectively owned all land outside the village, and its members enjoyed equal rights to resources such as game, wood, and pasturage. Additionally, they collectively tilled a portion of the agricultural land to support the chief, the cult, and the elderly. Importantly, mutual assistance was a core principle in Incan society, as neighbors were expected to help each other in times of need. Widows, orphans, and the sick were cared for by the community, forming a safety net that ensured survival. The Inca social structure was a unique tapestry. Men were organized into groups based on age and their ability to work. The Purics, comprising healthy men between the ages of 25 and 50, were the labor force of Incan society. At the pinnacle was the Sapa Inca, the king and the ultimate source of power. Below him were the four Apacunas, rulers of the four quarters of the empire, and then the Tocracoc, each overseeing 40,000 families. This hierarchical structure continued to break down into smaller groups, with the Hunu in charge of 10,000 families and further divisions into groups of 100 families, ultimately forming the social hierarchy. While hierarchy existed, social mobility was not an alien concept in the Inca Empire. The classification of the Inca Empire has long intrigued social scientists, with some arguing that it displayed socialist characteristics. They pointed to the Ayllu system as a key element that suggested the Inca Empire operated as a form of state socialism. This system was based on the regulative action of a central power in social relations, and it differed significantly from the private property and individual initiative that characterized Europe during that era. In the Inca Empire, private property was built upon a foundation of collective ownership. The Inca authorities encouraged uniformity among the common people, dictating their clothing, diet, religion, and language, Quechua. The produce from community land was supposed to be stored and distributed according to need, with leftovers going to the state. The Incan government played a pivotal role in ensuring that families had the means to grow enough food for themselves. Upon marriage, couples were given a plot of land called a tupu, the size of which depended on its productivity. When children were born, more land was allocated to feed them. However, the system wasn't without its complexities. According to some, Incaism operated through production quotas, statistical controls, and the rationing of final products. The absence of a currency system in Incan society meant that labor service became a form of tax payment, an approach akin to the principles of communism. Almost all non-noble males were obliged to work for the government, primarily in agriculture or other state projects. Nonetheless, not all social scientists were convinced that the Inca Empire was a socialist state. Some questioned the accuracy of historical accounts, suggesting that these sources provided mixed and often idealized information, making it challenging to classify the Inca Empire definitively. They argued that the Inca system blended elements of despotism with tolerance for the social and political order of its subjects. Bertrand Russell's definition of socialism was another key reference point. Russell defined socialism as common ownership of land and capital under a democratic form of government, production for use, not profit, and distribution based on inequalities justified only in the public interest. By this definition, the Inca Empire did not meet the criteria of pure socialism. The elite, including Inca officials, clergy, and the Sapa Inca, enjoyed privileges, with a significant portion of the production supporting them. Only 1/3 of production remained for the masses. Moreover, aid to the elderly and incapable was the responsibility of the village, rather than the state. It's essential to recognize that the Inca Empire was a unique and complex society, and the label of socialism does not adequately encompass its intricacies. While elements of socialism were present, such as communal ownership of land and the obligation to take care of the sick and elderly, the Inca Empire exhibited aspects of other social and political systems, including elements of a monarchy. Socialism, as a term, was coined much later in history, and trying to fit the Inca system into this modern classification proves challenging. In conclusion, the Inca Empire's classification remains an enigma. It displayed characteristics that could be deemed socialist, but it was also a society marked by hierarchy and a ruling upper class. While the Inca Empire defies easy categorization, it offers a unique historical example of a society that blended elements of various political and economic systems, ultimately deserving its own classification, perhaps Incaism.